As I said earlier on, there are a lot of people who I see, very familiar names on this call, and again, I thank you very much for joining. Some of you are fairly new to Channel Enablers, so let me take just about 60 seconds to give you a quick introduction for those that are new, and then we'll move to the Q&A section. So those new to us, we were founded about 11 years ago. We believe, and I'm somewhat biased on this, that we're a recognised global authority on the development of channel competencies inside of high-tech vendors. We've done more than 1,700 projects across more than 60 countries, assisting more than 150 clients who all can be referenced. We've trained tens of thousands of vendor partnering professionals on different ways to improve their results. And we're located around the world, 6 locations in Asia, 4 locations in EMEA, and 4 locations across the US. And what you see here is an example of our curriculum. So you see the professional programs we have here. They are all instructor-led, in some cases e-learning, and in some cases virtually based workshops targeted specifically at channel managers, trying to make them more effective and more competent in their roles. You'll see that we also have a series of advanced programs, also targeted at channel managers, trying to build on some of the more advanced skills of leadership and managing virtual teams. And you'll also see that we have programs and curriculum targeted specifically to the managers of those channel managers, making sure that they're reinforcing and driving the right behaviours. And across the bottom, you see our Channel Partner Lifecycle Manager, which provides an underlying channel methodology that helps you assemble your individual components of your channel operations in the easy-to-execute step-by-step. So we give you the framework, we plug in your individual components, and for those components that you don't have, we can help plug them into you. So the message clearly is, if channel development training is something that's very important to you over the next short period, or any period for that matter, please contact us, because we believe that we can certainly provide significant value. So now I'd like to ask for some feedback from you. Let us know if you have any questions or comments on this material, or any other ideas where you are having some channel challenges. So let me just move into the Manage tab here, and let's see if we have some questions. Okay, we have a question here from John. What do you mean by coaching partners? Well, what I mean by coaching partners, I think this was asked earlier on before I sort of did my little close towards the end there, and that is, again, making partners more independent of you and not dependent, so helping them find their own answers to their problems. Another question we have here is around, the question is, and this comes from Samantha, problems moving a direct seller to channel management. So I assume what you mean is somebody in your organization, Samantha, that was a direct salesperson and have moved into channel management. I think the fundamental issue there is what makes a direct salesperson successful is account control. But account control doesn't work when working with channel partners, so they need to subtly adjust their style to that of influence. And if they're able to do that, it's my experience that those that move from direct sales into channel sales and can make that transition from control to influence are usually those that are the most successful channel managers. And we have a third question here. What about developing markets? Do you think the development needs are different? Look, fundamentally, I don't think they're different. I think maybe in some of the application and some of the advanced skills, I think they certainly are. But certainly not as far as some of the fundamental skills go through. Okay, we've now got 3 more questions coming through. They're coming through thick and fast. This has come from Rick. Give a few practical examples of how you're seeing trust building work best. Things like channel managers that who do a very good job of building their territory plans, understanding the different competencies of partners, can demonstrate those competencies, Rick, to some of their internal sales teams, including those channel partners in the territory planning by those sales teams, is one example of trust. Another example of trust is getting them to work on joint sales opportunities together that are properly qualified and that they're well suited. Other examples of trust are teaming agreements that I've seen used, but it really is a skill of negotiation and influence, understanding what's important to the direct sales teams and understanding what's important to the channel partner and trying to match those that really makes a difference. Questions are flying in. This has come from Cecilia. Which will be your recommendation to make a better engagement with sales teams and partners? I think, Cecilia, hopefully, and please send me another note if I haven't, I've sort of answered that question about building that alignment. And again, I make the point, it's about understanding what's important to the sales teams. Only then will you start to be able to deliver and bring together the channel partners and equally what's important to the channel partners. Dale, a familiar name. Do you have any statistics on the cost of sales through a partner versus a direct model? Look, we do have some statistics, but they're client confidential, Dale, so it's hard for us to talk about it. But there's certainly a lot of anecdotal data. I will make a generalisation. Generally, the cost of sale can be higher through partners very early in the technology adoption of products, but certainly as the market starts to move from a push to a pull market, then, there's a lot of data out there by others that clearly supports the fact that indirect channels is a lower cost route to market. But at the end of the day, it comes down to which channel can perform what the customer needs at the lowest possible cost. Another question from, it looks like Mark. And if a vendor has some rocky times with a partner, how does a new channel account manager restore credibility? Well, it's about empathizing. It's about agreeing, I guess, Mark, that these things have happened in the past. It's about drawing those issues. It's about asking the partner, what can help resolve their issues. It's about asking the partner what's important going forward and trying to focus on those issues because, it's a bit like the customer service experience. You can walk into a shop 20 times and be very happy every time you bought yourself a coffee. You have one bad experience, and you remember that one bad experience, not the 20 good times. So it's about trying to manage the expectations, getting to understand, has this been a regular occurrence? Why has it occurred? What you've done about it, and what's important going towards the future. And we have another question. Sandra, what are some of the strategies being employed by others in keeping close to partners in the face of reduced travel budgets? Well, we face the same problem ourselves, Sandra, in working with our clients. Again, telephone-based skills becomes a very big part of it. And we're finding that we're doing a lot more of, we are doing a lot more of our role-playing with partners, as if they were on the telephone, because more often than not, that's one of the ways in which you communicate. Now, clearly there are a whole range of other media, like social media and other sort of very successful means to communicate to partners. But that's around the dissemination of information, around the ability to partner in ecosystems, things like that. The phone then becomes, the critical tool with communicating to partners if you don't have the same sort of travel budget that you once had. Renee's got a question. How do you recommend dealing with average partners? Well, that's interesting. Average partners. Well, I guess my view is that if you've done the channel life cycle methodology components, particularly around select and recruit, and they come out as an average partner, so therefore they don't really fit the criteria that, with your key products and your key markets or key customer sets, then probably I would either have a low-cost means by which to manage them, so someone on an inside sales one-to-many, and I'd set some leading metrics with them around trying to upskill them based on what some of those capability gaps were. And if they don't make the grade, then I would look at a way to transition them out. Because, no one can afford to spend resources and time on average partners these days. There aren't too many good partners out there, and they need some focus. So on that note, I want to start to bring our session to a close. And if you'd like to know more, you can see our US team on the screen here, Greg and William, Lynn and Raquel, who I'd like to welcome to Channel Enablers who just recently joined us, and myself are all available to help you. So we look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to presenting our next webinar to you sometime soon after the summer. Thank you very much for everybody for joining us. Oh, I just see I've got a question from you, Mindy, so I'll stay on the line for your question, Mindy, but for those who want to jump off, thank you very much for joining us, and hope you have a great summer and enjoy the holiday period.